to.
It's from
We're
Hong Kong.
about to start in a couple minutes. Just standing by. This is Josh you're looking at. You and
Yeah, I do.
we have 24. A lot of people are like followers. I recognize the names and all that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You got some good people.
People are saying, hi Josh.
Hi
Hey,
guys.
Turkey.
What's up, guys? In Turkey. What up, Turkey?
Anyone lose connection? I hope not. People are saying, hi Josh.
Hi
Hey,
guys.
Turkey.
What's up, guys? In Turkey. What up, Turkey?
Anyone lose connection? I hope not. I'm sure I have enough battery. Is he Chinese? Okay, so this is how the format is going to go, guys. I'm watching a very exciting NBA. Wait, I thought the game is over.
No. I'm following it too. So I'm with you. I'm following it right now as well.
Is that game not over?
No, it's game 6 right now, third quarter, right?
Ah, shit. Okay, that's why there's only 23 people.
Come on.
Everyone's like watching the NBA game. We don't care about this shit.
All right, come on.
Hockey is over. Okay. All right. I think the traffic is stable.
All right.
It's 25. It's a good number. Hayward is in. All right, guys. Let's go look more. Okay. So let's get this started. And you guys can watch TV on the side and check out the interview if you want. We will have a replay, but hopefully, you guys will tune in live.
Sure.
How we're going to do this is I'm going to start off asking Josh questions. And so this is going to be an interview between me and him. And then it's going to last for about 30 minutes. And then we'll have a 10-minute Q&A session. So you guys can throw your questions in at the later end of the interview. Anything you post here, I will pick up the questions that I feel like, okay, I want to ask him. And I will ask him on behalf of you guys. Sound good? Okay, there's a lot of hearts coming in.
I'm loving the heart. I'm loving the heart. I need all the hearts I can get today.
All right, so this is Josh. And why don't you introduce yourself? Where you're from?
Sure thing. Hey, what's up, people? I'm Josh. I'm a friend of John's. I'm from Hong Kong originally, but I'm guessing the question is, ethnic background is a question I get a lot. So, my mother's Hong Kong Chinese, and my father's from the U.S. So, grew up here, moved around a little bit. Also, I grew up in New York. My family's from New York, East Coast, and then I spent a lot of time in Northern California as well, in San Francisco, before I moved back about 6 years ago. And I moved back to Hong Kong because I thought it was the right time to live in Asia. I speak the languages, and I thought it made sense. So here we are, just open.
So what made you move back to Hong Kong 6 years ago?
Partially was the economy. Just I was in the U.S. at the time and it wasn't right, but also because I wanted to do something that I had finished studying performing arts. I studied at an acting conservatory, and so I knew that I wanted. My options were I either go to New York or go to LA or come back to Hong Kong and try something different. And I thought I needed a new country, I needed a new experience, so I came back to Hong Kong and I thought if I could at least teach what I like to do, then I could be okay with myself. And that's kind of what happened. I came back and started working in theater projects, film projects, and performing arts education. And that's kind of still a main staple of my income.
So when you first came to Hong Kong,
yeah,
like what is it like as opposed to before coming to Hong Kong? Is there a discrepancy in terms of expectations and all that kind of thing?
You mean did what I fantasize in my head correspond with the reality? I would say almost 70%. That's one thing about Hong Kong is you can actually pretty much do Hong Kong really is a land of opportunity. Like Asia is really big. If you have an idea and you want to go for it, there are many different ways to go hustle and find things that you want to do and actually do it. So that's one thing great about Hong Kong. So in that regard, yeah, John, almost a match.
So 6 years.
Yep.
What do you like? So. What do you like about Hong Kong in this 6 years time?
I tell you what I don't like: the humidity. The humidity. killing me, man. No, but what do I do like about Hong Kong? I like that I feel safe in Hong Kong. You know, we obviously had some drama go down last year, and that's still sort of ongoing in many ways. But you know, Hong Kong overall is a very safe place. I like the diversity that we have, and I like that it's a main hub for Asia. So if you want to do stuff in China, you want to go to Philippines for a weekend, you want to go to Thailand or whatever, it's easy to do. And just Hong Kong itself it's a really interesting place, man. There's a lot to explore. A lot more than people think that there is to explore.
A lot of people compare Hong Kong to New York City. They think it's like when they look at it from Periscope, it's very similar.
Yeah. There's a Blade Runner. So, sorry, go on. What's your question about?
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, is there similarities or?
Yeah, I think so. You know, having something that. Have you had a chance to go? Has John scoped with you guys on like a rooftop at night yet?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look out, it's got the sort of almost a Blade Runner sort of science fiction kind of feel to it, and that's sort of very much also New York as well. But in terms of the feeling that you get and everything, yeah, because Hong Kong is just this big bustling financial center with people just trying to. You have people going to be stratosphere. You've got the top 1%, and you've got people at the bottom trying to grind it out, making their dollar, and that's everywhere. But because of Hong Kong's urban setting and how financially oriented it is, it definitely has a lot of definitely feels a lot like New York, and also probably it's a dialect as well. Cantonese is quite direct and just boom 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 harsh almost sometimes. Some of y'all may have had this experience. You go shopping in Chinatown and you hear people yelling, but they're just buying vegetables and asking each other how they're doing. They're just saying what's up, and I think that kind of language, the way people express themselves. It does feel a bit like New York as well for me in some ways. I mean, in terms of the directness of communication that I get.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm not feeling so great, so I'm just going to sip some water.
So let's talk about the people of Hong Kong. Like, if you were to describe the people of Hong Kong to, say, your fellow American friends who've never been to Hong Kong, how would you describe them?
Yeah, but see, that's hard to do because Hong Kong is actually a lot more diverse than we get credit for, I think. So, yeah, it's really hard.
Let's talk about the local bunch, like the people in Hong Kong that hasn't studied overseas. They're from Hong Kong.
Okay.
They speak Cantonese majority.
Okay.
They don't know much about the Western world.
Okay.
What they know is from the movies, from the TV.
Sure.
What about those bunch?
I'm gonna say fun, man. Like they like to go out to have fun. So if we're looking at sort of this younger age group, people that grew up here, went to school here, like to go out. I think the majority of them are fun. They're down to go out. At least people that want to hang out with me like to go out, grab some drinks, do regular people stuff, regular folk stuff. But there is a certain level of, I guess I would say this is that people can be quite conservative in certain ways. I think especially like, yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of tradition and conservativeness that definitely still permeates, even though Hong Kong has had 100 years of colonial rule under Britain. So in many ways, Hong Kong is very liberated in terms of thought and in terms of how people operate, and it's certainly affected how we run businesses and things like that. But in terms of the culturally speaking, I mean, there's still this conservative level that exists. People, kids still. Very common, adult males will still live at home, with their parents. It's just kind of part of how it is, and then until they get married, then they'll move out. I mean, that's quite common. Yeah, right, John? That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Any question? Anything you want to add to that?
Well, it's more like the space we're living in is so limited, right?
There's also that, and there's also the amount of money that gets distributed for the folks the new graduates, and that's tough everywhere, though. I mean, any new graduates out there? Any people young, trying to earn their money after graduating?
We have viewers from pretty much all over the world.
I know,
a lot
right?
of them are like I'm not sure about the age group really. I haven't done the research on it yet. Right now we have between 30 and 40 people viewing this. What about the traditional values of Hong Kong, of Chinese culture? Do you think Hong Kong people are like holding on those values and actually practicing them? Like, because I know a lot of local people, right? They would make money, right? And they would give money to their parents,
right?
Part of it,
right?
To support,
Sure.
And that's something not that many Americans would do.
Westerners do. Sure. So I mean, I think some it's inevitable. Like, we are products of our surroundings and our culture, and we're taught about our culture, and so we it's inevitable that it's innate, it's in us that that's a part of our culture. But what we so even for me, like, I'm quite unusual, right? I'm not very traditional in any particular way. I think I'm relatively self-aware. But then certain things I may just be like, wow, you know what? I'm not comfortable with that, and I can see why. And the reason why is probably because of I still have some parts of me that are quite culturally conservative, and it's quite interesting just to sort of note that, or even just things that are culturally sensitive to from the Chinese perspective. What's the question again?
Well, it doesn't matter. But when you're in Hong Kong, when you're in the States, right, being a Chinese American,
right,
and you also learn some of the Chinese culture, right? Like, did you learn it back in the States or what?
No. So Hong Kong. So John's talking about Hong Kong. So I studied martial arts in Hong Kong. Actually, when I was a kid, I did Taekwondo, and that was in Hong Kong as well. And then later on, I started studying Chinese martial arts in Hong Kong. And actually, one thing I've noticed, so it's very cultural within. So you talk about culture, you talk about martial arts. Like, there's just definitely a set of codes and ethics and practices and hierarchy that are just inherent within the Chinese social structure, and it definitely expresses itself very, very, prevalent in the traditional Chinese martial arts sense. I mean, I would go to my master's house. I call him Seafood. The master go to his house. We'd sit down. We'd talk a little bit. He'd make me some tea or whatever, or his wife Simo made me some tea, and then we'd start practicing. Clear out a spot in the living room, and we'd just go at it. Go home with the bruised eye. This is what it is.
But that's a very traditional thing, right? Like,
Even that's sort of a dying thing. I mean, so I say dying thing. I mean, it's become more and more rare. Just that sort of traditional thing. I mean, they just don't do it so much anymore. Schools are opening. It's so much easier to go subscribe. I mean, the internet's been amazing. Folks are just going online, learning about stuff, reading about stuff. Information has changed the game, and that's a great thing. And I think it's important to appreciate the culture, but culture shouldn't define us. Knowledge should inform us. So that's kind of my take on that. I mean, we should respect that the culture's there, but let's be mindful and informed about how we operate.
I'm going to pause for a little bit. I just want to check if the internet connection is good, because I know someone actually mentioned the connection. Can you just let me know if you guys are hearing this okay? If there's any lags?
Side to side. Is it working out for y'all?
If not, I'll have to log out and log in again. Okay. One good. Okay. All right. That's good. That's BTS. All right. Cool. All right. So let's just continue. Just making sure that this is okay.
Good.
Now, a lot of people compare Hong Kong to mainland China and say, wait, so you guys are different because we're being colonized, or we don't like the mainland Chinese because we have our own identity.
Right.
What's your take on that? Hong Kong versus mainland Chinese?
Well, to just say Hong Kong versus mainland Chinese is, I mean,
For instance, dog meat.
For instance, dog meat.
Yeah, so Hong Kong, like everyone in Periscope asks me, like, "Oh, do you guys eat dog?" Right?
Yeah, okay, so
and then
now
I have to explain to them.
Yeah, so there was actually a lot. Actually, I got a funny story if you want to hear a story. So I took my dog. I have two dogs. At the end of a hike, I made it out to an urban area, hopped in a cab, and on my way home, there was something in the cab just about, dog ownership in Hong Kong and where you're from and blah, 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 blah. he mentioned to me that, back in the day, eating dog meat was okay. And I said, I knew that. I said, it was my fault. I asked him, I said, was it good? Did you actually enjoy it? And he's like, if you want to know the truth, the answer is, yeah, it was delicious. And I instantly regretted it because I'm sitting there in the back seat. I'm looking at my dog. My dog's looking at me. And I'm so glad you can't understand what this guy's just saying. Because he's looking at you and he's looking at dinner. No, but I mean, culturally, we don't really know. So the answer is no, Hong Kong, we don't eat dog meat anymore. But, I think let's step back a little bit and look at it from a bigger perspective. We talk about the cultural differences. So if we look at it from an animal rights perspective, we can see that there are a lot of animal rights infringements that happen in China that don't necessarily happen in Hong Kong. That's a great example. There have been a lot of stories where folks go, this is going to get a bit dark, people, so y'all don't mind. But, people go around and they would just, beat dogs and just get rid of them, and consume them for meat. And that's just part of what they would do, and that's just cruelty. It's just not fair. I mean, if one day they decided to farm dogs and cultivate them for meat, and it's done humanely, then we can have a discussion. But if you're straight up going around with clubs, smacking up puppies, that's just not okay, right? Let's keep it real. I'm just keeping it real. But your question of Hong Kong and China differences, Hong Kong is different. Hong Kong, we had 100 years of, colonial rule, and there's, you give people 100 years of, Western thought and ideas of democracy and freedom and social freedoms and freedoms of speech and so on and so forth. And then 100 years later, you're like, we're going to try to take away some of that or infringe upon some of that or try to modify it. And people get, suspicious and rightfully so, right? And so that's kind of, I think, where Hong Kong and China are at in terms of the cultural differences. But also, Hong Kong's government also, the issue has always been how well does a government advocate for its people. I'm sure folks from around the world, y'all have got many interesting things to say, I'm sure, about the places where you're from, about the government that's in power. And that's no different here. We have people that mean well, and we have complete idiots. It's just the same fucking story everywhere, really. But yeah, does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Well, we'll come back to the politics part of Hong Kong later as well. So let's talk a little bit about your work, right?
Okay.
Because you're a teacher.
Yes, I do.
And I want to ask you this because you probably know better about this than me. About early education in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And compared to the States, what do you think are the differences teaching kids in general?
So I don't know about for you guys, but or wherever you guys are from, but Hong Kong. So in Hong Kong, there's an entire industry built around early years education. And what I mean is, from when they're born, children as young as maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, they can go enroll in different classes. Not necessarily academic classes, maybe like physical development, sensory development, sensory integration, things like that. And that can go all the way up until before kindergarten. They got all kinds of different stuff that they do. And so that industry is really interesting because, the reality is the market knows that people with money will spend on their children. That's kind of the reality of it. But so our job as educators is to understand what is most beneficial for the children at that age group. So example is, if there's a 3-year-old in my drama class and the 3-year-old just wants to run around, that's fine because he's 3 and he wants to run around and he's trying to express himself through running around, right? It's hard to, it wouldn't make sense from a developmental perspective to say, we need to try to sit you down and have you not move. It doesn't make sense. So at that early years level, you just have to be aware of these things and develop it around your child. I think unfortunately as they get older, they go into more rigid systems of education, which take away their freedom of how they want to express themselves. I'm sure a lot of you guys have felt that growing up. You thought parts of school, some subjects you like, some subjects you don't like, right or wrong. Right? Some subjects is better. And sometimes it's the teacher, sometimes it's a subject. Some people prefer physical education. They want to go run, they want to go do stuff. Some people, you know, where my bookworms at? We all love to just sit down and read, and that's okay. But I think what happens is we don't always profile the children earlier enough. Know what they like early enough, and center the learning around them early enough. And so I think that's kind of what a lot of the. So there are definitely some centers and some educational facilities out there that definitely just capitalize on the fact that there are folks that parents just have money for kids and they just want to help them burn that money. But there are also people, centers that just genuinely want to put out good and interesting experiential programs where children can learn things experientially, whether it's cooking, so they develop sensory activities, whether it's they do drama, whether it's through physical education, learning about just having a positive association with sports is a thing. I think that's kind of important. And it is kind of unusual because I don't know if around the world, like you have centers like this, centers specifically, or small schools specifically for like the 2-month to like 4-year-old kind of like age bracket. I mean, honestly, I think that's starting the school really young, if you ask me. But it exists here, and there is good that can be done there, and so that's kind of where I come in, is designing specifically drama, theater, performing arts. That's my thing. So
what do you think about like the parents and how we always say there are these bunch of like tiger moms or helicopter moms they call it terminal state, like and there's a whole bunch of these people just trying to make sure that their kids are really on top of the game and that's right.
You definitely see a lot of that, but you see that at every single level of education, even up to university. Like you will still see some parents that just bang on the kids like, hey, you finish your homework again? What's going on? Like that's just prevalent in every single level. But you're asking me specifically from.
Like, do you feel like in Hong Kong the situation is actually more prominent, or like?
I think so. I think more so than because so moving it back to culture. Culturally speaking, education is important. Education, family values, these things are super, super important.
Being
achieving at a high level, competing at a high level. These are all things sort of valued, in the sort of traditional Chinese Confucian mindset. So I mean, so we definitely do see that. Even we still get parents like they're trying to tell 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, hey, you gotta go do that. And I want to be fair here. We still see a lot of parents that are turning around, they get it, they understand that, because ultimately, because I think integrating his family is still strong here. Family values are important, and there's just more information now. Like there's just more information. People just know, like, if I want my child to have a successful and happy life, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe they shouldn't be pushed to constantly try to do this and behave in a certain way. Maybe I need to find out how they learn best and give them opportunities to learn best. So we're seeing more of that. Like as far as tiger moms and stuff, yeah, they're around. They're still around.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the question would be, if you were to have a child, would you put him or her in school in Hong Kong, or would you just?
If we lived here, yes, I would have no. Yes, I would. Because education is more than school. And so it's also the family's job to provide the child with other forms of enrichment. So there's education within the household, the opportunity to travel and go see other things, right? Leveraging technology like Scope. I may do scoping with my kids in 50 years. If Scope is still around and still big, hell yeah. We go do stuff. We do a Scope project together, as an example. For sure. Like I think another thing to note is the Hong Kong education system is interesting. So there's the local system, then there's like an international system, then there's an English Schools Foundation system, and within that there are also other permutations of that as well. So as long as I I got me some money, or Uncle John over here is gonna sponsor me, sponsor my kids' scholarship. But no, for sure. Like obviously I would have to shop around, find where I think is most appropriate. But yeah, children should go to school wherever they live. That's.
I was just telling Josh with you, teacher Jen, about our scoping experience last night with your teacher, with your students in Canada. With Periscope and all that, technology has made that happen. Not knowing what this would actually take me to, and just scoping for 14, 15 days in Hong Kong. I'm having people asking me to do all sorts of different stuff, and being able to talk to the students in Canada, explaining to them about Hong Kong and the experience it's pretty amazing.
The world is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
I know. Teacher Jen is saying hi.
Holla, Teacher Jen.
All right, so let's talk about your business.
Okay.
I know you're also somewhat of an entrepreneur as well.
I do many different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in.
Do you want to talk about the music stuff that you do?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure. So why don't I break it down, guys? So I like to do many different things. I think that's kind of why I'm probably quite drawn to early years education and helping children find their different passions and pushing them in the right directions and guiding them to where they need to go. Because that's kind of me. Like I like to do multiple things. I like to have multiple pots on the stove, as they say. So
a rapper.
Yes, this is also true. So John mentioned music. So I also MC. So I've also toured. I toured in South Korea. Lighting up stages out there. Love me some South. Anyone in South Korea? Anyone from Korea?
Anyone from South Korea? I don't know yet. I don't recognize.
Or even North Korea. I don't care. Whatever. What people's at. No, but seriously. So yeah. So music. I love the music. I trained in acting, so I still do acting work. On a better day when my voice is much better and my lungs are much better. I also do voiceover acting. And that's one cool thing about Hong Kong. I'll bring it back to this. In Hong Kong, we still get Hollywood productions coming through. Y'all know Transformers was here, a few other films are here. But
he met up with Keanu Reeves.
So I got a chance to work with Keanu Reeves, which was awesome. So I got cast to do voice acting, voice dubbing, because they needed bilingual and trilingual voice actors. So I went to the voice studio, and Keanu Reeves selected us on the film was Man of Tai Chi. So I'm gonna get some hearts there from Keanu Reeves.
There's a lot of hearts.
Keanu Reeves. But that was great. People ask, what's he like? The answer is really nice guy, super nice guy, very calm and direct and helpful. And he took the time out afterwards to take photos with everyone. He was really nice guy, really good guy. But that's another thing. So in Hong Kong, you just have so many opportunities. You just need to know what you want to do, what you like, and just hone in on them, because you got a lot of people. Hong Kong's a transient city, so you can come in and out. You get all different kinds of talent coming in and out, and so you just have to meet the right people, find the right people, and make stuff happen for you. So yeah, I like to teach performing arts, drama. That's my thing. I teach that. I still act. I make music.
And you brew your own beer.
Oh yeah, I'm a home brewer.
What is up with that?
What is up with that? I just like brewing. For me, how that came about. So, Hong Kong didn't really have a big. So the brewing culture was never particularly big here. So places like in Europe and the U.S. and Canada, brewing is big. People home brew all the time, right? Anyone home brew out there? Anyone make your own beer?
Someone seems excited about it.
Anyone makes chicha? Anyone from the south of the border making their own chicha?
It usually takes about 5 to 10 seconds for people to
That's
type
okay. Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
But you can go on.
Yeah, but so anyway, the thing is, I thought, well, how come Hong Kong really was in Hong Kong? And then I started studying, and I started brewing myself, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought, well, Hong Kong's got a lot of there's still some interesting agriculture out here. There's some interesting cultural fruits that we have out here. maybe we should do stuff with it. And so about a couple of years ago, I actually started the Home Brewers Association. So I'm actually the president of the Hong Kong Home Brewers Association in Hong Kong. And so we meet quite frequently. Actually, we're meeting this Thursday. How about this? If I can get my shit together, Thursday I'll try to I'll set up Periscope. Have you guys Periscope at a Home Brewers Association meeting?
I'll help you promote your channel for sure.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
I can easily get at least half of the people to check.
I hope so. And hopefully I'll do other. So I do a lot of other cool, interesting stuff, and hopefully folks will jump in on that. But yeah, so I brew, man. I actually, my biggest passion isn't brewing beer, although I do love me some good beer. I actually like mead. Does anyone know what mead is? MEAD. Let's see if anyone's paying attention. See if anyone knows what mead
There's
is.
still about 30 people, 40 people coming up and down the numbers and all that. So it's pretty good. But Hong Kong is not big in brewing at all, right? Like, is there a brand of Hong Kong beer?
Yes, there are multiple brands of Hong Kong beer.
There's one I tasted, but it's really bad.
Was it Hong Kong beer?
Yeah, Hong Kong beer.
Well, see, Hong Kong beer is interesting. So they were here for a long time. Hong Kong beer came here for a long time, and then they were bought out by a Singaporean outfit. If I remember this correctly, and they're under new management. And the new stuff is definitely superior to the old stuff. So you can definitely try it and see how you feel about it. And then you've got you have Master Ales. They do some really good ales. They do well. And you've got Nine Dragons, which are really interesting. They're in the process of having their stuff brewed here. They're currently brewed overseas and then they're shipped over here. But people know Hong Kong is an important, it's up and coming in terms of brewing, in terms of that market is definitely getting big. Because again, remember, Hong Kong is still a gateway for China.
Yeah.
And so you get a big here, you can get stuff up there. Bada boom, bada bing, big business and good stuff.
So essentially, when
Excuse me, I'm gonna blow my nose. Just try to listen to John and try not to hear my nose.
yeah. Josh has been a sport. He's not feeling well today.
You got tissue, bro?
Let me grab one.
John's going to grab some tissue from me. I haven't been feeling too well. Today's much better though. I have an upper respiratory infection, but don't worry, much better. The fever's broken, everything, so we'll be all right. And there's my man with the tissues.
Note to self:
bring tissues.
Send by tissues for the interviewee next time. You're not in front of the camera.
Look clean?
You look clean. You're good.
I hope I look clean because if he uploads this and it's on my face, I'm going to kill John. So sorry, go on, buddy.
So, but bringing it back to the topic of beer business in Hong Kong, like when someone sets up a business in Hong Kong, it's not necessarily focusing on the Hong Kong market because you have to understand it's a small market, right? And like you said, people usually aim for the Chinese market to sell their product.
Hong
right?
Kong, Macau, China, Taiwan. Hong Kong is a good hub for these large markets. And Macau's a small market, but I also do think that we shouldn't underestimate the Hong Kong market itself. Like if you look at wine, wine's grown. The wine business has grown huge. Basically, guys, when John walks around with you guys, try to spot wine shops, and you'll start noticing that a lot of wine shops are just out and about because wine, and that was over the past 15 years.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. This is interesting because I talked to a lot of wine sellers, and the thing is, business is actually very key. Like a lot of the business out there selling wine, they're actually not making money. Most of them are actually losing money, in fact. And the reason for this is because, first of all, most people who do wine, it's their interest, and they probably have a major business in front to support the
So
money.
it's a side business for a lot of
It's a
people.
side business.
Yeah.
Right. But yes, there are a lot of consumers in Hong Kong. I'm not sure if it's sufficient to support all the wine companies out there. But I guess it goes the same with beer, right? If you have your own brand of beer in Hong Kong, that's a niche, right? That's something that you can sell.
Yes.
This is unique.
And that is a difference.
Yes.
But you do have a lot of beer importers, beer distributors as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think definitely the Chinese market is huge. And who knows? Hopefully Periscope still works in China. And if you ever go to China, show people around. It's interesting.
Yeah, we actually did that last week. I was in Guangzhou.
You in Guangzhou?
Yeah,
oh,
let's go
man.
Guangzhou.
Did you guys see through the fog and the mist and the pollution?
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It was really hot though.
Okay.
Yeah. Pollution in Hong Kong is actually not too bad. I don't know. How would you rate pollution in Hong Kong?
Honestly, it's day by day. It depends where you are in Hong Kong. And it also depends on the weather. Because of where Hong Kong is from a regional perspective, like we get like if there's a low what do you call it, a low depression, in the weather wise, not mood wise. South of us, it can draw in a lot of the air from China,
yeah,
and which means we could potentially get a lot of really, really bad pollution coming down. But if we have like high pressure in the area, like today, it's like the sky is super. Can they see?
Yeah, they can see the sky.
So it's super blue. I mean, it's like the clouds are absolutely gorgeous. You can see the hills in the distance. It's like it's perfect. It's hot, but it's perfect, and it's actually not too humid today.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I'm not crazy about talking politics and Periscope, but today is actually the day that the Legislative Council is actually going to vote for the bill. Have you heard about it?
Yeah. Why don't you give a little bit of background on the bill?
So basically, we have, what year is it that we're supposed to vote for?
2017.
2017, and by 2017, basically the bill is to pass so that people, Hong Kong regular citizens, will be able to vote for their chief executive officer of Hong Kong. Now, the thing is, there's a catch, and the catch is for all the candidates that will be are eligible to be elected, those has to be screened by the Chinese government, meaning whoever that Chinese government doesn't agree to, they probably won't get to be candidates to begin with. So a lot of people are actually not happy about it, and I guess there's a lot of protests going on, these days about this whole bill being passed and all that. So they would, some people would say, okay, we'd rather not have this passed, or we actually want this so-called universal suffrage, which is why the whole student protest happened back in November 2014, right? And then you were actually there.
Yeah, I was there. So I think John gave you guys a bit of a background. I mean, so what happened in 2014? I think a lot of people when we moved in 2014, it spawned, the umbrella movement, which is what it's called, which is this sort of push for democracy and universal suffrage in Hong Kong, and the level of autonomy that's promised. But I think what moved a lot of people wasn't necessarily that sentiment, because you still have a lot of old school folks that are just going to be like, yo, China is the way it is, it's large, it's immovable, they are who they are, let's just make sure we make our dollar, and let's just be pragmatic and not do much about it. But I think what moved a lot of people was that there were young students who were pushing for this, and then they were attacked basically by the police. There was tear gas, there were some billy clubs, and people just said, like, you know what, like, I understand you have to keep the peace and they have the right to demonstrate, but attacking unarmed youths, the high school students that are trying to exercise their right to express something, was not okay. And I think that moved a lot of people to go out and support, not necessarily just support the sentiment of suffrage itself, but to protect the students. And that was actually, so there was actually those few nights where it was just epic, where entire highways, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because it was really, really emotional just to see entire freeways and entire walkways just all with people. And everyone was saying, like, let's be peaceful and let's not cause any ruckus. And this was the night of the attack. Night of the incident. I shouldn't say it was the attack. Night of the incident. With the tear gas and stuff. But the policing is difficult. I also understand that. Like, I mean, I get that. But anyway,
Well, we won't go too deep into the
No.
topic, because
You're
it'll
right.
take like
Yeah, we'll go.
hours to
It
talk
will,
about.
it will go too deep. But boiling it down. So John's talking about from then now. Fast forward it back to here. They're going to vote on this, whether or not we can or cannot get it. How do I feel about it? Listen, any chance we get to vote is a good thing. It's funny. In my drugged up, medicated state last night, I watched Selma actually, and it's kind of appropriate, I guess, for this is sort of the advocating for the right to vote for your people, for your city, and I think any chance you get to vote, it should be appreciated and it should be exercised. However, I'm not sure. We just really have to see how it's going to happen, because the big issue is the barrier to entry and how genuine is the autonomy that Hong Kong will get from where will it bottleneck in terms of what we hear from China head office and what actually we can do here. So, but no, voting is good. Voting means we hopefully can have a voice, and even if it means choosing the less crappy candidate and applying pressure by saying we voted for you, where are our results, is better than at the moment saying like we have no voice. So I think on a very basic, simplified level, I would take that. I would consider that.
And this has been a big argument for a lot of the political parties out there, because people are saying no, we should not agree on this deal, because if we do agree on this deal, that means we're just compromising. And that's a lot of, that's part of the people's view on the whole thing about, do we make a deal with the Chinese government or do we not? So, that's why I'm asking people about this thing. And it varies from people to people. Obviously, like I asked Josh today, I can ask another person, they would have like totally different views.
Right.
But okay, do you believe that Hong Kong one day will actually have universal suffrage?
Hong Kong was promised 50 years of no change. It's been since 97 to now. So we're talking almost 20 years, right? We've seen so much change. I don't know. My head says I don't think so, but my heart says I hope so. And again, I want this to be very clear. I want to be away, for me anyway, to be cut off from China or to not be a part of China. I don't think that's it. It is just to have the genuine ability to govern yourselves. Meaning, hey, look, we need to build some sort of infrastructure because it benefits the people that live in this district, not because we've opened the gates to flood in a lot of mainland tourists. Mainland is China mainland. They're tourists in, and we need to create more structures for them. I wouldn't mind if we did that, if we didn't neglect some of what is necessary for the people that do live here, that have lived here for generations, and this is their home. So I want that to be clear. I know governing is difficult. There are no easy answers. Compromising is important, but so are basic human rights, and the ability to express and to govern yourself is absolutely important. Otherwise, there's no point. I mean, yeah. So I hope that can continue to grow, and hopefully that moves in the right direction. China is changing. I mean, China is getting better. So hopefully that translates into something. Who knows, 50 years down from now. It may be for my children or my grandchildren, but I do hope someday that they can really take hold of what they want in this city and make things happen for the people here. All right. Yeah, that went deep. We didn't have to go that deep. What's up with that, John?
I know.
Ended it like that.
Okay, so just something light. So just a few personal questions.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
And then we go to the Q&A session, right?
Okay.
So, favorite transportation in Hong Kong?
Oh, Star Ferry is the bomb diggity. It's the ferry that goes between the Hong Kong Island and to the Kowloon side. Is the best. Is the best. You taking them on the Star Ferry yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yo.
Because when you cross the harbor, the connection is going to be bad.
So sometimes the connection is bad, but
I'll give it a try. Maybe when I hit 2,000 followers.
Even just look at the skyline. It's fantastic. Yeah. Star Ferry for sure.
Okay. Favorite Hong Kong restaurant and food?
Ooh.
Pick a cuisine. Chinese cuisine.
Ooh, that's tough. See, because Chinese cuisine is like China's massive. It's huge. So okay, you know what? I'll pick three things. Okay. One is the dim sum. One of my favorite things is chow fan, which is amazing. Chow fan is basically thin rice sheets. Right? Anyone loves dim sum out there? Give me some love. Give me some hearts. Sahala hala.
You're getting a lot of it.
Food, baby. Who doesn't love food? But chow fan is basically so you get thin rice paper. So it's almost like a thin noodle, and they cook some meat inside or vegetables inside or like dried shrimp, pork, beef, whatever, and then roll it up. Put a little bit of soy sauce on that. Delicious. That's good. Another thing, big personal favorite, steamed fish. Southern Cantonese cuisine are amazing with how they cook their fish. It's fresh, it's done right, it's freshly caught. It is genuinely someone. If you like fish and you're down with like picking through bones, we do it right out here. You got to come out for the seafood for that one. And I'll pick one more thing. Beef brisket noodles. So noodle soups are big out here. Like the beef brisket, and sometimes it's really good. You get a bit of tendon on there. It's soup when it's really soft and tender. Oh, it's the best. It's amazing. So yeah. So I hope I'm making you hungry.
The way you describe it, they're gonna like, John, you have to take us to this place. Like, we gotta check out the beef brisket, the dim sum part.
You know what? If you're for it, next time let's go. We can go have a little dim sum session. I'm happy to take. If you're for it, we can go out and do places as well. Yeah. Right.
All right. Everyone's like,
oh, hungry.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite Hong Kong movie?
Do I have one?
I know it's hard.
It's tough. You know what?
There's not that many to choose from.
I mean, that's another sad thing is to be like, yeah, classic. I really liked the old, and this was when Jackie Chan, like late 70s, early 90s Jackie Chan, Joy True. The Drunken Fist, Drunken Master.
That's a classic.
That's classic. That's really good. You see him with it getting all drunk and stuff. That was amazing. I love that. So that's iconic for me. But in terms of like what I really like, I actually like a lot of the old Stephen Chow stuff. I used to not like it so much. I used to be like, it's not the whatever. But now, you know, it's really good. I love it.
Yeah. Where do you download these things, by the way?
Where I download these things?
Download these movies?
You could probably find them somewhere online. Yeah. I'm guessing. I don't know. What do I know about downloading stuff online?
Okay. So we're running out of time here, so we're just going to jump straight into the Q&A session.
Okay, got it.
Now, guys, this is the time. We have about 20, 30 viewers up and down coming. So if there's any questions you want to ask Josh, this is your time. You have about we have about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum left. So anything you want to ask him about, whether it's Hong Kong, whether it's his personal thing, just shoot your questions out, and then we'll ask him whatever age. How old are you?
How old do you think I am? I gotta throw it back.
Where do you get your shirt?
Oh, this I got this at a flea market in Reno, Nevada, and it was an old cowboy. It was a weird old cowboy flea market, and I got it for like $8 or something like that.
They're guessing in the range of 25 to 32.
I'm just outside of that range. I'm just 33.
Do you feel like there's more opportunity? Do you feel like there's more opportunity in Hong Kong as someone with a Western background?
There's so many opportunities with someone with a Western background in Hong Kong. I mean, if you've got a bachelor's degree, you can find work within education quite quickly. There's a thriving banking industry out here, whether you like it or not, that exists. But there's just definitely. Obviously, if you speak Cantonese or Mandarin, that'd be helpful. But even without, you can find work here. I'm pretty sure. Right, I know for sure. Right, John, you agree with that one?
Yeah.
Well, so much good.
You basically have you also have an edge because people value the views of like outside of the country, outside of the city, and
yeah, I mean definitely.
That's value for Hong Kong.
For sure.
Yeah. And someone was asking about bodybuilding. Think about it. What was the question? Sorry, I missed it.
For real? Do I look that like yoked from some good thing? Let's keep this my frame then. Let's keep it.
You're pretty close to the camera.
Oh, I look like that.
You look pretty buff.
Oh, thank you. I guess.
What hair products do you use?
Oh, this is au naturel today, actually. But I do wash my hair with Kiehl's shampoo occasionally. That's really it.
No sponsorship yet. Disclaimer.
No sponsorship. I just their shampoo works good for my hair, so I do that occasionally. Well, thank you.
About food. 剛才我講鹹水果、腐皮卷、蘿蔔糕. Do you like any of those?
Yes. All of those things. All of those things. Basically, there was just a list of glutinous, gelatinous, fried, deep fried foods, and the answer was, I can dig it.
That's why he needs my products.
This guy. It's another conversation.
I'm pitching him about my products.
That's another conversation.
Everyone knows I'm in the business.
I know. We know. And he does do good work. Go on, yeah.
Are they into bodybuilding in Hong Kong?
Yes, there is definitely a culture for bodybuilding in Hong Kong. Yeah, we have a lot of gyms out here. Just be careful. Sometimes the gyms can be a bit sneaky with how they try to get you to sign up. But yeah, they exist out here.
The kind of education opportunities are there for Westerners with higher education background?
What do you like to do? Do you like academic work? Do you like to write?
Teacher Jen asking.
Oh, okay.
She teaches, I think, primary school. Well,
yeah, primary teachers are always welcome here, I think, for sure. Academic work. I mean, we have a lot of universities out here, a lot of secondary schools, primary schools. Definitely there's stuff to do.
Is your hair naturally curled?
Kinda, yeah, actually. So like, actually, hair gets super curly when it's like when it's longer, but I had it cut, so it's a little bit, yeah, a little bit.
You should see him when he has like full-grown hair down.
I used to have hair down to my navel, so I look like Ozzy Osbourne on a bad day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so time is up.
Time is up. Any one last question?
Are both of your parents in Hong Kong?
No. Actually, neither of them are in Hong Kong. I came back on my own.
Good. Are clubs in Hong Kong like Vegas?
Are clubs? You mean like kind of clubs? I guess so.
Clubs in like Quite Long. I just haven't shown them yet.
Like in Vegas? No, I'm not quite.
Not
I wouldn't say, no. I mean, some scandalous stuff can happen, but it ain't quite like Vegas. Vegas is Vegas. Let's keep that real.
Okay, guys, this is it. This is Periscope number 2, and that's Josh.
One love. Beautiful day out of here in Shatin.
Josh, thanks for doing this.
No worries, my pleasure. Thank you, buddy.
I know you're not feeling well, so
and
appreciate this.
You came basically. I live like 5 minutes away, so I walk. So he came close to me. It had to happen. Thank you guys. And
we still have about 24. Okay, so they're just saying thanks. You can check this out.
Thank you guys. Oh, we're looking at John right now. That's all good. Get Periscope. I will. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh,
this is Josh.
Oh, the love. Thank you. I see why y'all asking if my hair's curly. Yeah, it is a bit curly.